What's going on, guys? Alex here with PI Paintball, and today I got a little bit of a different video for you. Brace yourselves, this might be a long one. We're going to do something new on the channel. I'm going to start a new series. It's not going to be an every week thing, but something a little bit different and a little more focused on the paintball industry in general. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to start more of an interview type thing, and I'm going to call it the Paintball Roundtable. So what I have here today is I've only got one other guy with me. My first guest works with me here at AG Paintball. He's my other tech. He's been here for this season. I want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Alex. A lot of Alexes here at AG. Let's see, started playing paintball in 1998 and been teching on and off, just amateurly. Just basically being a gun whore, taking apart guns, putting them back together. If I break it, you gotta find out how to fix it. Like Alex said, this is my first year here at AG. He's not a bad guy.
Appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. So, been playing tournaments pretty much since 1999. Started here at AG for about a year. Remember renting guns and then saving up all my money to get an autococker. And still got it today. Awesome gun. But other than that, paintball, I love it. You just can't get away from it no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. It turns into, especially when you've been in as long as both of us have, it really just turns into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
More than anything. I know I've definitely gone out of my way to make it my work, and as well as most of my hobbies and all that kind of stuff. All right, so today what we got for you guys, we're going to go ahead and this is the 18th of October, and PSP World Cup happened last weekend. We're going to go ahead and talk about what's kind of going on in the paintball industry today. What's going on, especially a little bit more focus on World Cup, obviously, since it just happened. We're going to go over products that released, what's going on with the industry in general, what's going on with the PSP, really just everything. This is going to be more of just an all-around, let's talk about paintball kind of show. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, let's go ahead and start off with World Cup, since that's the most recent thing. It's definitely pressing on a lot of people's minds. A lot of new products came out. There was a lot of, a little bit of controversy, a lot of upsets and surprises at World Cup. Let's go ahead and start off with the products. As this video goes up on the 18th of October, this video is recorded anyway, on the 18th of October, the official press release, the full press release for the E-Tech 5 was today. Planet Eclipse has been teasing it all week. Now it's out. But there was a little bit going on at World Cup. Somebody looked like they snapped a photo, maybe in the back room or something.
Yeah, I don't think that picture is supposed to be released. In the background, you can clearly see dealers only.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely saw that too. This is not the first time this has happened either.
Yeah, 3.1 maybe?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. If you guys don't remember, if you weren't watching the PSP World Cup within the past couple of years, the Geo 3.1 was quote-unquote released. I say released in the very loosest of terms, in a very similar way. It looks like somebody walked in back, or somebody that was invited in back that's supposed to be for dealers and only, and people like that. And they took a picture of product that's not released, that they're not supposed to.
It's also kind of the same when Britney Spears is leaving Starbucks, and paparazzi just happens to be there, but her people are just basically saying, Britney Spears is gonna be leaving at this time, paparazzi, you better show up. It could be 100% a stolen picture from the back of Eclipse, but it's smart for them. If they don't want the masses to see it, but they want them to be talked about, then absolutely let a picture get snapped and uploaded.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess that that could really go both ways. I guess one way, maybe they really wanted to keep it a secret, and they were upset about it, which is why they didn't really say anything when that picture went up. There was really no retaliation. There wasn't a, hey, take that off the internet or anything like that. They just kept absolutely deadly silent. Or it could be the other way around, where you could look at it because they didn't say anything about it. Maybe they were okay with it, or they wanted to do it, or they did it themselves and they just, sent one of their employees the picture, or something, or had some guy go back. They just pick someone out of the crowd and be like, "Hey, take a picture of this, leak it," or kind of whatever like that. Overall, this kind of stuff, and not just with Planet Eclipse, because this has happened before with other companies, of people actually being caught sneaking into areas, and this has been confirmed a couple of times. People sneak into places like this at World Cup, at the PSP World Cup, at the Millennium World Cup, at Extravaganza. This has actually happened. People sneak in and snap a photo when they should, and they release it to the internet. How do you think that affects the industry? Do you think is it negative, or is it okay for this to happen?
Well, one thing with paintballers is they want the newest stuff right now, and let's say they leak a picture of a random gun from some company. The hype's all about it. You get 10,000 people saying that they want the gun. They're all saying they want it, they want it, they want it.
Right, yeah.
And then so then the company who's getting ready to produce it, either they rush it, and then you have all these version 1, version 2, version 3. The gun's never working right.
Yeah.
And then the gun just basically, it's going to be a piece of crap.
Right, they rush it because it's already been released and everybody's already clamoring for it. So they either, 1, they just succumb to the peer pressure, or 2, they just figure, well, the hype seems to be good. Let's just release it and try and make money.
Yeah, or it can go the other way. You could online, you could have 10,000 people saying, "I want that." And so then the company's like, we need to make 10,000 of them.
Right.
And then when it actually does release, talk's cheap.
Yeah.
So you have, they're expecting these giant numbers. Next thing you know, it's only, they sell 2,000 of them or so. And they're like, where's everybody who wanted it? And then you can also ask the person, thought you were going to buy it. Oh, that was 3 months ago. I was going to buy it.
Right, yeah.
Now this thing's out.
Yeah, that definitely happened. I remember that happened last year with a couple of products at Extravaganza, specifically with dye. Some of the new colors and stuff got released at World Cup, and they said, "Oh yeah, they'll be coming out, shortly." And then they had them at Extravaganza, and they're like, "Yeah, they're coming out shortly," and we actually put in orders for these products. And then we still didn't get them until the middle of April, a month and a half after Extravaganza, bare minimum.
Yeah, old news then.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's, at that point, it's it's not the new thing anymore. Everybody's moved on. They're like, yeah, it was cool when it first came out. Not so cool anymore. I'd rather just go get this that's already been out.
Yeah, same thing with if anybody remembers Angel Eyes. Everybody wanted that, and I believe you went to Extravaganza.
Yep.
And you saw, who was the new company who bought it?
Tiberius bought it, and they started a sub-company called C2, and they called the Angel Eyes the Ion. But
yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I think they kind of looked at the hype. Everybody's saying they wanted Angel Eyes. But once they're not a real attractive-looking goggle system, I think a lot of people wanted it. But once it actually is available, they're going to lose their shirt over it.
I literally have not heard a single thing about it since Extravaganza, and I've never seen one. I don't know if they ran into, I thought when I saw it at Extravaganza they weren't even done production. I thought just by looking at it they were going to have issues with the ASTM stamp because it wasn't fully protective as a goggle, but I don't know. I literally haven't even heard a scrap of news about it since then. So
yeah, and back when Angel had it, I believe I think they dumped tens and tens of thousands of dollars just trying to get them ASTM standards, and it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
So, and they have to follow these certain rules, and it's not cheap to make something like that.
No, absolutely not. So the E-Tech 5 itself, you've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Obviously because you get to see a lot of the teaser stuff. Because it comes through here because we're, an authorized repair center for Eclipse and, a dealer. So you get to see all the behind the scenes shit and stuff like that. Just, like everything I do. So you've seen it. It's got the recessed LPR like the LV1.
Yep.
It's still got macro line.
Which is fine.
It
can't be the LV1. It has to be, you need to be able to compare it to something that's if it's going to be in the same price point as $500 as their E-Tech 4,
Right.
then it can't be an LV1. You can't be selling LV1 for $500.
Right. Yeah.
I think, they'll be throwing LV1 technology into it. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be running at a higher pressure. It needs to be. They cannot build a gun that shoots just as good for $500 and sell it and market it.
And then expect to still sell LV1s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So yeah, right now that's kind of the hype that's going on. All that's been out so far as of this date, October 18th, is pictures. No details have been released. So everybody's trying to speculate if there's the Cure 5 bolt that's in the LV1 or the lever valve that's in the LV1. I know I'm fairly decided and that it's just not feasible for them to. It's just not smart. And Jack Wood is not.
Yeah.
He's not that unintelligent. He is a smart dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's not going to put the same. I mean, basically, with poppet guns like that, the valve system is really the drivetrain of the gun.
Yeah.
Just like the core, the core is, the IV core is to the Geo, that really makes the whole gun. With a poppet gun, that valve system and the ram and valve interaction and that whole deal is really what makes the gun. So if they made it the same as the LV1, then what's the point of buying an LV1 when you can buy an E-Tech 5 for almost $1,000 less and just deal with macro line? Not a big deal. Right. I would.
Yeah, exactly. And why would they have a complete inline poppet like the E-Tech 4 and then call it the E-Tech 5? I mean, you can't change that much into it and have them justify calling it the 5. Just because the grips look different on it and the LPR is recessed.
Right.
They can't really call that the 5.
Yeah. So speculation is awry. We don't really know. I'm not even sitting here with the industry connections I do have as of this date. I usually do know stuff like this in advance. Obviously, I still can't tell anybody. But at this point, I literally don't have any idea what any of the details are. I have more pictures than you guys are going to be able to see because I got the press email, but I don't even have any detail. I don't have any details of it. So if I don't have any details of it, chances are no one does. So I don't know what kind of valves inside it. I don't know what kind of boards inside it. I don't know if it has a lever valve. I don't know. I don't even know how much it's going to cost. So, that's all really up in the air. But other than that, I think, as far as just like the gun itself, looking at the pictures, I think it looks good.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, years past, we've had years and years and years of the E-Tech really just being that really dumb version of an Ego that was big and blocky and heavy.
Yeah.
This one looks, with the recessed LPR and everything in the 45 on the reg, I think it looks like a good gun. It actually looks attractive.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is sharp looking. They're not gonna make it as fancy looking as the LV1. They can't.
No,
it's gonna have a lot more metal on it.
Yeah,
it needs to be heavier.
Yep.
And it needs to be higher pressure. It's gonna be kickier.
Yep.
But I think if it's what I'm thinking it's gonna be, I think it's still gonna be a super smooth gun for that price point.
Yeah. Yeah, especially as far as poppets are concerned, with that added weight and everything like that, it'll definitely help out with the smoothness and the reduction in kick.
Oh yeah.
So moving on, let's move on to a bunch of the stuff that Empire and Key Action Sports did.
Oh, they did a bunch.
They did a whole lot. Maybe some of it was more of just updates than new products. Let's go ahead and start off with the new axe. If you guys have been paying attention to any of the social media or anything, you probably see that your PB friend was down at World Cup and Empire let them borrow an axe to go do a video on. So they have a super detailed, descriptive video up there. I would absolutely encourage you guys to go check that out, just because the Axe Pro is not going to be out for quite a long time. So if you go hit up yourpbfriend.com, they have nice, detailed, super descriptive video where they get to rip the whole thing apart and everything like that. So definitely go check those guys out. They're really good guys. I've talked to them multiple times. Really solid. Definitely encourage you guys to go check that out. But just your thoughts on the Axe and the Axe Pro. Seems like it's going to come in at maybe like the $700 price point, kind of like the Axe LEs are coming in now with that Super Freak barrel kit and the red line board. What's your take on that? Do you think that's a good idea?
I think they might be right around the 600, same spot as the LEs. I think that the LE obviously is going to stop.
Yep.
Because there'd be no reason for them to compete with it because it's older technology kind of thing.
Yep.
I kind of wish that they still came with a Freak barrel.
Yeah.
They're running, I believe, the pipe system.
I believe it's the Evil pipe system. Yep.
Yeah. Which is, it's pretty cool. You get that little color ring in it and stuff like that. But, being able to throw inserts into it, I think it's much better. It's definitely a real good-looking gun. Clean your eyes without having to completely disassemble a gun.
Right, yeah, that's a huge plus.
Especially being a tech. You don't want a 20-minute project just to clean out somebody's eyes.
Yeah.
But the whole gun looks really nice. The feed neck, they updated that, needed that.
Cool.
The regulator, now basically they have one regulator. The old relay, obsolete. You don't need it anymore.
Yeah,
the new guns
absolutely.
might as well.
You might as well use all the nice new technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the Axe Pro definitely, I think, looks like a nice, sleeker tournament style marker, and I know that's not, generally, a lot of people will sit there and say, well, it doesn't matter if it looks better, right? As long as it shoots really nice.
Well, some people would say as long as it looks better.
Right. I think unfortunately is a lot the way a lot of guns sell is based on the way they look. People, it's definitely a true fact with any industry. People buy with their eyes. If it looks, if you've got item A and item B and they're both identical except item B looks a lot better, people just naturally have a tendency to buy item B.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially if you're looking at, kind of newer people, kind of like the mid-range things. If you can get a flashy color gun versus just a all-black gun, even if the all-black gun might be a better gun,
right?
They're gonna say, I like that because I like the way that looks a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, all right, here you go. You're not gonna be real happy with it, but I did my best telling you the pros and cons of it. But
right.
If they like the way it looks, then they're gonna buy it.
Yeah. So speaking of that kind of stuff, the new Vanquish they put out.
Gorgeous, I love it.
It does look. It looks really good. It certainly looks a lot better than the original Vanquish, I think.
Yeah, I hate the way the original Vanquish looks.
Yeah.
The trigger ergonomics is horrible.
I'm definitely not a big fan.
Yeah, removing that bolt is a pain.
Yeah.
It's such a pain. There's nothing to grab.
Yeah.
The gun itself is nice. It's a Lux. It's a shocker. The gun, it shoots nice and smooth.
Yeah, the shot quality's fine, which I have no objections to the way it shoots. I think it shoots quite nicely. I hate the way it looks.
Yeah. I don't know. The new one though, I was watching the webcast and I'm just like, I want one of those.
Yeah, it just looks like a sexy gun. It looks like something you would want, and you'd be like, yeah, look, wow, I have this. This looks awesome.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely cool too. I mean, the one Allen wrench. You still that.
You definitely can't beat that.
Yeah, I was working on a gun today, and I don't remember what it was, but I think I needed a complete Allen wrench set just
to get it apart.
It was the TM15 actually.
That absolutely, I will absolutely back that up with first-hand experience. TM15s are terrible to take apart.
Yeah, if you're missing one Allen wrench out of a complete set of 10 wrenches, don't even attempt to take that gun apart because you're not going to be able to do it.
Not even joking, guys. I don't know if you've never taken apart a TM15, I highly encourage you to never attempt it.
Yeah,
absolutely terrible.
Great shooting guns though. Not gonna knock them because it's a mini on a big heavy gun.
Yeah.
The things they're quick and quiet.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, they're great guns. It's just don't take it apart.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they definitely look good. Other than that, as far as the information I've been forwarded, they didn't change anything except for the looks and the milling on it. It's the same internals.
The new barrel though.
The new barrel, yep, that definitely, yep, that's the big thing is
the new driver barrel.
The driver X barrel or whatever it's called, instead of the freak set.
Comes with 4 backs on it, so it's not a huge loss over the freak system because
it comes, yeah,
came with freak backs to begin with, and now it just comes with a complete kit.
Comes with the 8.2 and 8.5 and 8.8 and a 9.0, I believe. 9.1 is what it comes with. So definitely you get that, that barrel kit diversity.
Where you need it, because the paint nowadays is so crazy. It's all over the place.
Yeah, like our paint that we have here at the field, even between different skids of the same paint, the paint's going from 680 all the way up to 688.
Yeah, and you need it because like a lot of people, this kind of sidetrack, I guess, but a lot of people come in and say my gun's not working right.
Yeah,
my gun's kicky. It's like, well, your pressures are so high because it's trying to shoot that, a 682 barrel out of a 690, or 682 ball trying to shoot out of a 690 barrel.
Right.
It's like, the gun hates that. The gun is yelling at you saying, give me a right size barrel.
Yeah.
And, that's one good thing with, a lot of the higher end guns. They come in either, with inserts or, barrel backs, or even like, the die clips, they sell you the backs.
Yeah, you can buy the backs separately.
Yeah. So it's definitely cool.
But, for the price point, it's definitely nice to see a $1,500 gun come with more than just a stock 688 or 689 barrel, and then you have to buy another couple backs for $40-$50 a pop. That's kind of a nuisance. If you're spending $1,500 on a gun, realistically, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it is something that's nice to see, is that a gun at that price, $1,500, and then you have to go spend $100 in barrel backs just to get the right size. That's kind of annoying.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's how they kind of justifies charging $1,500 for it, versus the DMs were down to $1,300,
right?
And that gives you $200 to buy 3 barrel backs, and then you're right with the same amount of barrel backs for the same price.
Yeah,
yeah, LV ones and stuff like that. Actually, any of the Planets, the cool thing about them is you can actually order the matching backs.
Color backs. Yeah, that's definitely,
as long as you're in a current year, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah. That's definitely nice to have. Do you think that kind of barrel system is better for them to do that instead of the freak system?
Yeah, I own a few freak sets. I know you own a few freak sets.
Yep.
I think everybody in paintball, for the most part, has used them. I'm not a huge fan of them. They're important. Like if I'm out shoot my autococker, you need to have that perfect paint to barrel match, or your ball's rolling down the barrel. It's also, you can kind of see as a money marketing thing, because there are so many freak systems out there.
Right. You have to spend money on it.
Yeah. And
you have to spend a lot of money on it.
Oh yeah.
You if you want a full freak set, depending on what back you get, and if you want a matching colored tip and stuff like that, you can easily find yourself spending almost $200.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of cool because it's if you had to buy the same amount of backs of a die ultralight to match,
right?
Same kit, you're spending $500 on that or something.
Yeah. Like the boombox kit that die puts out. It's got 5 backs and 2 tips, and the retails for like $300.
Yeah. Obviously, Dye makes awesome barrels, though. We can't.
Yeah, no, you can't
say anything bad about that.
Absolutely not. But still, it's like, well, I just bought this Dye DM15, but I want the full barrel kit. I got to buy this full barrel kit, and it's another $300. Vice.
Yeah.
The new Vanquish that comes with the full barrel kit. The Lux that comes with 2-3 inserts that are solid. If you need to buy more inserts, they're only $13 a pop. Eclipse, where you get that shaft 4 barrel. and you can go ahead and buy, two backs, but they're only $40 a pop.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, and I think any gun, any high-end gun, any company that's got a flagship gun, it should come with a full barrel kit.
Absolutely. At that kind of price point, it should come with at least a 3-piece barrel kit.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
Yeah, 3-piece.
I would want more.
Yeah, but I don't need 7 barrel backs. That would be unacceptable or unrealistic for me to expect it. But I would say a solid 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
2 backs and a tip.
Yeah, and it can't cost the company that much money. I mean, when they're, let's just say the DM, for instance, the 14s are, or the 15s are $1,500. For their cost to add an extra 2 barrel backs, it can't be more than, let's say, $25.
Yeah.
At their cost and all that. And then they can easily justify this is why this gun is $1,500.
Right.
It comes with these barrel backs.
Yeah, I really don't see why they don't. But speaking of die and the DM15, let's go on and talk about the DM15 itself. DM15 was released at World Cup officially. It was certainly teased, as I think a lot of you might have seen on any of the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. That teaser pick hashtag DieDM was up, and a lot of people thought maybe the name would have changed to just the Die Matrix or something like that. But nope, they come out and call it the Die DM15. Do you think they're justified in that?
Oh, no. They've been doing it since 2004. So, I mean...
It's true.
It's horrible that they keep on coming out with a new gun every year.
Right.
I own a DM14. I love the gun. It shoots awesome. Shoots just like my 10 did.
Yeah.
It shoots like my 6 did because it's the same gun.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
But I think there's a point where you get away from... You kind of separate yourself into it's broke, don't fix it. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Fuse bolt system. They make it smaller and lighter, more efficient every year, but it's the same fuse bolt system.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely agree with them. There's no reason to completely change it and let's come out with a new bolt system. Why? There's no point.
Right.
It doesn't seem smart to me. My problem is that they're coming out and calling it, they're just making it a little bit smaller and lighter. They're not changing a lot, but they're coming out telling everybody, this is brand new. It's so completely different than it was last year that it's not even funny. This is worth $1,500 to upgrade, which is a small problem. The bigger problem is that they've been doing it every year. I can personally attest to this. I have currently a Die DMC, which is basically a DM5. I have a DM7, and I have a DM11. And between my 7 and my 11, honestly, besides the way the grips feel in my hands, I can't notice any difference. I don't know if with you just said with your DMs, between your 10 and your 14, it really wasn't that big of a difference.
No, it wasn't. I would say the biggest jump for Die was the 14 with the whole
the air through,
yeah, air through. But I mean, it's the same gun. They got the new V-neck on it, where I didn't think there was any issues with the old one. I didn't think that they were overly tall.
Right, I think that
they weren't just breaking off or anything like that.
Right, they just wanted to make it a low pro.
Yeah, and I don't think it wasn't enough.
But they're almost coming off and marketing as, oh, this old V-neck is absolute garbage. You need this low pro. I'm like, well, no, it worked fine. This is not like the issue that the Axe and the Mini had.
With a junk V-neck.
Where they were garbage V-necks and they snapped off all the time and there was an actual problem. And then when Empire came out with, the Sniper and the Mini GS and now the new Axe, and it has this updated V-neck, it's absolutely better. Yeah. And it's worth it, which is justified. I don't feel like that justification there is
Die made it sound like there was an issue before, and then they fixed it, even though there was never an issue before.
Right.
The new V-neck looks good. It is a lower pro.
Yep.
But it's not doing anything better, because there was no issue with the old one.
Right.
The eye pipes system, they need to do something about that though.
Yeah, I agree. I have my own Dye DM7, which was the first model DM that came with eye pipes.
That has eye covers, so
but it still has eye covers, which I think is the better way to go about it, because you can have access to your eyes and your detents separately. We can both personally, attest to this, that
the nightmare of changing eyes.
Changing eyes in a modern DM that has no eye covers is absolutely a terrible experience.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix. It's not, oh, let me quickly do that. It's give me your gun, come back next weekend, and
yeah, even when we're both going at it really, really fast, changing a set of eyes and getting that little rubber piece that holds those eyes in place perfect. It still took us like half hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah, and
to get it right,
and you have to take the feed neck off to do it efficiently.
Right.
Yeah, so you had to strip the gun down. You need to get the grip frame off. You need to take the feed neck off. You need to take the bolt system out. That gun is just an empty body when you just to swap out the eyes.
Right, which in my Dye DM7, because it has eye covers, is a matter of minutes, if that.
Yeah, it's quick, simple design.
Just like any other gun, even even other guns that don't have eye covers. Realistically, you're only looking at the Axe and the Mini that also don't have eye covers. They went the smart way about it and made a little separate board. So as soon as you take the frame off, you can just pop that board out and pop a new one in.
Yeah, and the Axes are a pain in the ass to change to clean the eyes, but it's still quicker than doing them on a dye gun.
An almost better way to go about it would have been, I hate to bring up and say that Smart Parts did something right with the ion, but you remember how the eyes with the ion were? It was the little U-shaped circuit board that just popped out of the breech, and you put a new one in, and it clipped right in, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, if they integrated, I don't know the exact dye term for the eye carrier, which it might even be the eye carrier, but I call it the eye bra because it's kind of like because you're fiddling with it the whole time.
Classy, nice.
Yeah. But it's such a pain. I really wish they could do something about it. I mean, granted, your eyes don't go bad all the time.
Obviously, and on that note as well, this is not something a lot of you guys listening are probably is probably something that you guys have had to deal with, because obviously a lot of you are not techs at a field or and like that. And if your eyes do go down, obviously you want to take it to somebody that knows what they're doing with guns, not just DMs, but paintball markers in general. And you get that official nice, hey, I know what I'm doing to work on your gun and that kind of thing, so they don't mess it up. But it is something that's part of the design that is just not. It just shouldn't be acceptable. If you look at a company like Planet Eclipse, and you've got Jack Wood and Nikki T and Leds and Jacko that implement all of these features into Geo 3.5 and Ego LV1 and ETHA and ETEC 5 and ETEC 4. They implement all these features that might not be a big deal to the everyday consumer, but they exist, and when techs go to work on these guns, or if something does happen and a regular ordinary customer goes to work on their gun, it's easy, it's simple, the stuff makes sense, it's convenient, just that kind of thing, realistically for my sanity.
Yeah, I think we're just working on some of our rental ethas, and I'm just working on it, and I just looked at Alex, and I'm like Planet Eclipse is so smart. Like,
they
just
are.
like the simplest things. It's like, what? They're so smart. That's all you can say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've said that to each other multiple times, just working on Planet guns. Like, I know literally almost everything there is to know about, LV1s and GOs, all that stuff, just because we've been doing this for so long. But, every once in a while, we'll just be working on, like, an older Ego or an older Geo or an older E-Tech or an ETHA or something like that, and we find something that, just something small that you never would have noticed before, and it's just like, wow. Wow, they're just so, man, they're so smart. They thought about everything.
Yeah, and they did it. It's a joy to work on the guns, even though you don't get to work on them a lot because
they just don't go down.
They don't go down. Not saying that a dye gun goes down a lot more, or
Yeah, we get just as few dye guns in here. The only reason realistically we get dye guns in here is with, any dye gun is, especially with the ordinary rails, the $250 rails is. The ASA is a little bit wobbly, and those screws need to be tightened. And, that's whatever.
Yeah, or again, kind of goes back to the whole barrel to paint match.
Yep.
A lot of people, to get the velocity up, they increase the pressure too much.
Yep.
And then the solenoid's got that feature on it, so it doesn't damage the gun. It starts leaking.
Yep.
And
it auto purges, so it doesn't damage itself. Yep.
Yeah. So, but no guns do we. Every day we get, every weekend it'll be, it's a spider day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll just be a day full of work on spider clones kind of thing. Or
yep.
Might be a mini day. Or, just working on a bunch of those.
Yeah, the main boards get fried. They go down. There's bolt stick because that poppet in there is unreliable. The solenoids go all the time in those guns because it's a bad design. Nobody else uses it. It's proprietary to the guns, and it's just not.
Yeah, but then again, we can go months without even working on one.
Right.
But then one weekend we'll work on 6 or 7 of them.
Mm.
So again, not knocking on minis or anything.
Absolutely not.
Because when they work amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just every once in a while, and the biggest deal is just maintenance. A lot of times when people come in, they say, "Oh, my gun's not working." You just take it apart, and you can just tell that they haven't greased the thing since the factory shipped it to them.
Yeah,
there's some grease on it, put together, and they think you're a genius.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Which is unfortunate, and that's just to touch on my channel in the first place. That's why I'm putting all this stuff out for you guys. Is I don't mind all of you guys coming in and be like, "Hey, can you help me out with this?" Yeah, that's not a big deal. That's why I work here at AG Paintball, and that's why I'm doing this YouTube channel. That's why I do what I can for you guys. But at the same time, it's you should really learn how to do this. It's your own gun. You need to take care of it.
Yeah, I'm not your personal gun maintenance guy.
Right.
Yeah, don't come to me and say it's not working because I haven't greased it, and then I'll be like, "Didn't I just grease the gun for you, last month?" Like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna have you do it again. And it's like, get over here. Like, let me show you how to do this. It's not that hard. Right.
Yeah. That's that's stuff you definitely need to take ownership of your stuff and treat it as something nice. So let's go ahead and move on from that. I know we got off. Well, let's just recap real quick of the Dye DM15 in general. I know we got off on a little bit of a tangent there. In general, it seems like they did the low pro feed neck. The Billy Wing bolt now comes stock in Dye DM15s. They slim those rubber grips up. If you have a Dye DM14, you can order or buy at your pro shop or anywhere online the new rubber grip set for the Dye DM15, and it will work. They are backwards and forwards compatible. So if you like either one, the Dye DM15 is just a slimmer set, more trimmed down on the rubber, and the Dye DM14 is just a little bit thicker, and it's got some bulges in areas, especially on the foregrip and everything like that.
Yeah, I believe it's only the foregrip they changed, right? The actual grips of the gun didn't get any thinner, did they?
I believe so. I was looking at pictures of the grip set between on the 14 and the new catalog that we have. It didn't look any different.
Yeah.
For the actual frame grips, but who actually knows? Oh, overall, DM15, it looks nice. I think the colors that it came out in look really, really nice.
That polished clear looks awesome out.
Polish always looks good.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Dye does polish guns. Planet doesn't for some reason. You're just kind of used to it now. If you kind of picture a LV1 polish, it kind of looks weird in your head just because they've never done it before.
Yeah, they've never really done it. Yeah. But they haven't done that since Ego 6. The SL66s.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. The excessive ones and the Bushwhacker SL66s could come in polish. I don't remember a polished Ego since then, really.
Yeah, but yeah, the DM15, the DM14's great, so therefore the DM15 is going to be great too, just because they're the same gun.
Right.
They're kicking themselves in the ass because they're releasing the same exact gun, and it just kills kills the used market absolutely, because
It really does.
When somebody knows that the new version is coming out in 6 months, they're not going to buy a brand new one now. Paintball season's halfway over. I want a new gun. I'm just going to wait 6 months, and then so no one buys them. And because no one buys them, then they drop the price. And because they drop the price, and the used market takes a hit, it come out. Stop calling it the 13, the 14, the 15. Call it the DM.
Yeah.
And when you guys build something new, something groundbreaking, something that they can say this is a different gun.
Yep.
Then release it again with the new DM or something.
Right, like Empire did with the Vanquish this year. It's just called the new Vanquish.
Yeah.
The 2015 Vanquish.
Yeah, and same thing with
Same thing.
Planet's been doing it since 2011.
Yep.
Yeah. They got rid of the numbers, and their prices are holding strong. They're not being rushed to be forced to make something new when there's nothing new to release.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely. Definitely all the new the colorways from Dye look good this year. You got like that skinned colorway, and then you've got
the bunkered camo, right?
Barracks.
Oh,
that camo looks wicked. That camo looks so good.
It does. It looks childish, like a kid drew it, but it looks really good.
It looks, especially in that polish finish, it looks so good.
Yeah.
You really can't argue with that. So what else went on at World Cup? Who else released something fun? Let's see. The Virtue Vio bottoms, the lengthened bottoms came out. Personally, I still think Virtue is... I don't know what to think about them. They keep releasing new pieces and parts, and they come out with 8,000 colors, and then...
They need to know what they have.
That's
what they're like. They're like, we don't know what we have, but we got a lot of it.
And then 3 months later, they're like, oh, well, we improved this design. It's totally new. Everybody who bought all this is screwed.
Yeah, sorry, you just spent $10,000 on product.
And
it's now obsolete.
Yeah, here's 50 more colors and this new thing, and it's going to cost you out the ass, and no, we're not going to help you with your old product. That's the problem I'm having with Virtue right now.
Yeah, and I do kind of like that they do have the bigger bottom, because not many people's faces fit between.
Right, I think it's a good idea. I think I think a lot of the stuff they've done is good ideas. I think they're just going about it in an absolutely horrific way.
Yeah, they're kind of instead of getting all the feedback to begin with, kind of thing, and finding out what's good and what's bad about it, they're just, oh, we got this thing, it looks good, let's send it out there. And then they listen to the feedback, and they're like, oh yeah, that is kind of an issue. All right, let me fix it real quick. And
then they release it as a new product. They don't help anybody out.
Yeah, and $170 for the new mask is no thank you. I like it, but not for $170. I'll stick with the $80 ProFlex.
Yeah, I'll stick with my $90 grills for days. What else was going on?
Speaking of grills, right?
Yeah, the new color grills came out. They look really good. There's a couple teams sporting them. I think Our Chaos may or may not have had a couple wearing. I know
Our Chaos wears what they want to wear.
Valid. Our Chaos does what they want to do because they're Our Chaos, and he's Konstantin Fedorov, and
you can't say no to them.
Yeah, you really can't. Like, what are you gonna? As a company, you go up to Art Chaos, and you go up to Fedorov, and you go up to Beardnikov, or you go up to Mishka, and hey, you need to do this, and they're like, I'm too good to do that. Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah, they're just like, let me take a sip of my vodka, and let me think about it.
Oh wait,
no,
hold on. Let me go win. Let me go beat these people down and win World Cup real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm good. Is basically how Art Chaos operates.
Yeah, but I do know 187 was wearing it, and I think was Heat also wearing something?
Houston Heat had some of the new red ones. Those look really ones. Sharp.
Yeah, it's a deep blood red.
It looks really good.
And then I think 187 they were wearing some of the blue ones, some of the lighter tealish kind of.
Yep, I saw those. The blue ones look really good as well.
Yeah.
Definitely a fan of those new colors. Definitely digging the way G guys going with that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because when was the grill released? 2006, 2008, or something like that.
The grill was released I think I was still in high school when the grills came out, and it must have been 2006, 2007.
Yeah, my buddy bought when it first came out, and he's been wearing it. And for years, I'm like, why are you still wearing the old pieces of junk? And then all of a sudden, like, the grill is like the new thing.
The most popular thing. Houston, he comes around, and they're all, GI's flagship team, they're all wearing grills, and it's a wicked cool thing. And
yeah, and people think they're brand new. They've been around forever.
They've been around for longer than the E-Flexes, the I4s. They've been around longer than the Profits. Obviously, everything's been around longer than the Vios.
KLRs, obviously.
Yeah, it's been around longer than basically everything out for retail right now, except for, like, the i3 Pros, which I don't know why Dye still sells them.
It's Dye.
And the ProFlex, and, only because the ProFlex has just been around forever.
Yeah, nothing's older than ProFlex unless you're rocking a Scott Badass or something.
Right, which I have quite a few of those. I'm sure nobody listening knows what the hell those are.
No, not at all.
So the new Sly goggle came out. And I say new, and I'm really making air quotations here, the new Sly goggle. And I'm just going to go on a small rant here, and it's sorry, as I just get prepared for this rant. Valken,
I'll sit back for this.
Yeah, I know, right? Grab your beer. Valken is absolutely killing me here. I mean, I don't expect, the best, most, the smallest, the best field of vision, the best looking thing from Valken. If you didn't know, at this point, Valken basically runs Sly. I'm not expecting the world's greatest mask to come out here. But when they redo the bottom part, the actual face mask part, and then they come out and they call it the... Oh, God. Why did you even have to bring up
there's
the picture?
The picture of it right there.
That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
I'm sure it's a prototype. I'm sure by Extravaganza, they might have some color into it.
I'm sure by Extravaganza, they'll realize how stupid it is and not release it. This is the absolute worst thing that I have seen. It is complete garbage.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody that wears Profits, because... obviously masks are a personal preference. Goes a lot with how big it is compared to, not saying that people have big heads or small heads or something. It's dependent on how big the mask is to the size of your head, and it's dependent on, how that foam fits on your face, because everybody has different facial structures, and it's how it contours and stuff like that. So no offense to anybody that wears Profits, because, it fits you quite well. But man, does this thing just look bad.
Yeah, it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, really.
It really does. It just looks terrible.
Yeah. So, we'll change the subject on that.
Let's just go ahead and move on from that, because it's just not interesting. The new packs, there's a couple new packs released recently before World Cup. Maximus Lundqvist, if any of you guys don't know who Maximus Lundqvist is, he was basically the guy that ran Joy Division back in the day. And if none of you guys know who Joy Division is, because maybe you're really young, Joy Division was a professional team out of Stockholm, Sweden. And they used to play in the Millennium Series over in Europe for years and years and years, and then they came over here to America and they played in the NPPL for years and years and years, and they were a really, really good team. Maximus Lundqvist was the head of that team. He is still playing. He's getting quite up there in age. I believe he's got to be at least in his 40s.
Yeah, he's got to be right around there.
Yeah, mid-40s, somewhere around there. And he's still a fantastic player. He's an amazingly good guy. I've gotten the chance, luckily, to actually talk with him one-on-one once. Just an all-around just good-hearted person, loves the sport of paintball, wants nothing more than to get into paintball, help people with getting better at paintball, help people getting into paintball, help making paintball a better sport and a more accepted sport. Absolutely nothing bad to say about Maximus. And he started Bunker King, which if you guys have heard of the company at all, that's actually this guy Maximus Lundquist that does Bunker King in his spare time. He recently announced that his old team, Joy Division, he is restarting. They'll be shooting Luxes and all that kind of fancy stuff because he's Maximus Lundquist and he kind of does what he wants. But his company, Bunker King, recently came out with a pack with no straps, just like, what was that pack, 2 years ago? It was Magnets, I think it was Critical, came out with that magnet pack.
Yeah.
And Maximus basically took this one step further, and now he's come out with this pack with no straps at all. Not quite super sure how it works, but the pods seem to stay in there.
RKS was using it.
RKS was using it.
I was watching it. They're diving around. They're not falling out. My personal friend, they're sponsored by Bunker King. For World Cup, the whole team got the packs. The only issue they were seeing was lids popping open.
Getting caught on the back part or something like that when they were bouncing up and down.
Nothing's really protecting the tabs from getting grabbed. But then again, you kind of look at it. The average pack only has 4 pods that are actually protected by a strap. All the other ones are open anyways.
Right.
So if some are going to open, those ones would open too. They seem really cool. HK just came out with
that's where I was going with this. HK just came out with this 0G pack, which I can only imagine is an immediate response and copy of the Bunker King pack.
Yeah. The kind of HK saying ours is better because they can adjust on how tight it holds the pods, which it's a smart move in general, just because it is rubber bands that hold the pods in, and everybody knows rubber bands stretch out over time, especially a pro paintball player who is just
using that thing every day, 7 days a week.
Absolutely, yeah. They're just gonna get used up.
Yep. Which is gonna lead you to buy more packs more often.
Yep. So I do know that HK kind of, they had a promo video on it, and they basically just slapped Bunker King in the face without saying anything about Bunker King. This kind of seems like there might be a little bit of bad blood between them.
Right, but, which only adds to the list of the reasons why obviously if you're here at my YouTube channel and listening, I'm certainly not afraid to speak my mind and my opinions and my objections to things. I absolutely do not like HK as a company. I completely object to how they're portraying paintball as a sport, how they're portraying it to parents of kids, how they're portraying it to kids themselves. Just the image they're giving the sport, I absolutely object to. I do not like it. And I think, stuff like this is just, stuff, it's just small, it's petty.
Yeah. There's something about Mr. H, though. He knows paintball players. He makes something, and he knows he's going to sell thousands of them because, for some reason, people just flock to him. It's got that whole...
He started that whole ag thing back in the day, and it's it's a coolness factor. It needs to be ag, and they replaced and use that word, which I absolutely do not get. As a civilized person, I don't know. I'm not being hypnotized by something that I got to be cool like everybody else or something like that. I absolutely have complete objections to just the way he's going about it. But the masses that are out there, obviously I'm not saying you guys, if you're here, my objections, and if you're still here, you're obviously completely okay with the fact that I object to a lot of things, and I do appreciate that. Because obviously this is opinionated quite heavily. It's just the whole way he goes about it. It's just, I don't, you watch, there was a very small amount of time about 2 years ago when those HK, they were doing videos that were going up on YouTube and stuff like that.
Fashion.
And
they PB fashion videos.
And they were all right. They were okay. They, it looked
professional.
It looked professional. It looked cool. It looked, it was professional enough to the point where parents of kids could watch and be like, oh, cool, I get that. That's cool. But it was also cool enough to the kids where they'd be like, yeah, this is really awesome. And now it's just the point where I think the last HK video I watched, everybody was pounding beers and getting hammered, which is
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Which is there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're intentionally putting this out to show people what our sport is like, I have a problem with. Everybody was pounding beers. Everybody was completely shit-faced drunk. They were smashing fluorescent lights over each other. Like, is that really what you want our sport to be portrayed as? Like, you know, if you're sitting there thinking, you know, and you see all these posts on PB Nation and stuff all the time, like, oh, paintball should be in the X Games. Paintball should be taken seriously as a sport. You know, if you agree with that and you're there arguing, like, yeah, paintball should be taken seriously as a sport, everybody who doesn't is an idiot. But you go out there and you're completely supporting these videos that, you know, everybody's, like, shit-faced drunk all the time and smashing fluorescent lights and giving people the finger and, like... You know, you really think that that's going to go out in public media and people are going to be accepting of that? You're absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that does happen, but I wouldn't be putting my face on it.
Stuff like that happens in the NFL too, and it's not...
Yeah, and that's shamed upon, obviously.
It is absolutely shamed upon, and people get considerably punished for that.
Yeah.
But not in paintball. It's just taken as, oh, well, you know, it's just paintball. That's how we are.
Yeah.
I think it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, I don't own a multi-million-dollar business either. If I was Mr. H, I wouldn't be participating in that kind of thing because it's all about public image. But then again, isn't he cool now though? That he's getting hammered and, you know, just smashing everything on people. You know, it's funny, but
it's funny. Like, I don't care if you do that kind of stuff and record it and put videos up for, like, you and your friends and stuff like that. But when you do that to put it out on YouTube, to PB Nation, to be seen by the masses, like, I'm going to record this and put it out there so people can see what paintball is like. And then we all look like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't see any major paintball company owner doing stuff like that.
No, you don't see Key Action Sports putting out videos like that. You don't see Dye putting out videos like that. You don't see Eclipse doing videos like that. You don't see teams doing stuff like that.
No, Mr. H, he does what he wants.
Dynasty is basically the leading HK Army sponsored team. You don't see Dynasty players. You don't see videos on, you know, all the time on YouTube of, you know, we're San Diego Dynasty and we play paintball and paintball is cool, so we're going to go out and get fucking hammered and beat the shit out of each other. Like, you don't see Dynasty players doing that. You don't see Ollie Lang and Greenspan and Yash Rao going out and doing that because they have goddamn professionalism.
Yeah, they have class, too.
Right. So, I don't know. So ends our rant on
it's like, what just happened there?
HK Army. And this is starting to get a little long, so we're going to go ahead and hit the last couple topics. Let's talk about the PSP in general, paintball sports promotions. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, the PSP obviously had their World Cup last weekend. The webcast I thought was really, really solid. Coming from them. If you are not currently aware for whatever reason. The webcast currently is not free. Has not been free for quite a while now. It does cost money. You can either buy the entire event webcast, whatever event it may be, for $20, I believe.
Yep.
Or you can buy single days passes to watch whatever's going on that day for
$10.
$9.99. It's obviously just done through pbaccess.com, and they just ask you to pay through PayPal. It's quite nice and easy. It takes just 2-3 minutes if you have a PayPal account. You know, over the years, PB Access, I think, has been getting better and better and better, and these webcasts have been getting more professional and better, and definitely something that, I think, in an extremely small timeline, would be absolutely professional enough to start showing off on public television, like ESPN, NESN for us who live up here in New Hampshire, NESN, the New England Sports Network, ESPN2, for sure, absolutely ESPN3 for anybody that knows what ESPN3 is.
I have no idea what it's not ping pong.
ESPN3 is not a televised channel. It is complete web access. You can stream live on your devices. your phone, your iPad, your tablet, your computer. You can stream it to your TV if you have an app on like your Xbox or your PlayStation or something like that. That's what ESPN3 is. I personally used it a lot for college football and the sort. I think it's the PBX's webcast of the PSP is getting to the point where they're professional enough, they're involved enough in it, and they're getting good enough at portraying it as an actual sport and like doing the play-by-play live action stuff to where you can really come in not knowing a lot about paintball.
Yeah, they explain it all for you.
And they explain everything, and it's really clear and it's concise, and you can actually get a feeling for what's going on. You can watch it without ever playing paintball and know nothing about tournament style paintball, and you can watch it and actually know what's going on, the same as you would if you don't like basketball and you never watch the NBA or anything on TV, but all of a sudden you just flicked on and watched an NBA game for 20 minutes and you just listen to the commentators. It's very clear and concise, like what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense. They tell you everything that's happening. They tell you why it's happening. They tell you why penalties are like this and what they are, and all that kind of stuff. I absolutely feel like the PB Access webcast is getting to that point. What do you think?
I think they're there. I mean, I can't really think of anything that they can really do to make it more professional. I mean, they have the fantasy league where every player has their own stat now.
Right. That's huge. I think that's a big part. I mean, obviously it's fun for all us paintballers and stuff like that, but stuff like that, I think just in general, existing just portrays it as more of a professional thing.
Oh yeah, and at World Cup they introduced, when a player gets a penalty, it used to be, I think they were playing on.
Absolutely, that was one of the best things about watching the World Cup this year is every time there was a penalty, they had a referee out on the field, and the commentator said, "Let's go check out the penalty," just like they would in an NFL game or an NBA game or Major League Baseball or anything like that. They go down to a camera with a ref on the field who's wired up with a microphone, and he tells you exactly what the penalty is, who the penalty's on, and what that means, and he details and describes the penalty for specifically only the viewing audience, which is the first time they've ever done that.
Yeah, and that when I first saw it, it kind of gave me a fuzzy feeling like this is getting
this is cool.
Sport.
This is legit.
Yeah,
yeah.
They definitely did an awesome job, and $20. For it is completely justifiable.
You're getting 4 days of complete webcast access.
It's 30+ hours of paintball for $20. You can't beat that. I mean, who watches a wrestling match on pay-per-view and what are they, $50, $100 like that?
God, at least.
And it's 2 hours, 3 hours. You're watching a boxing match. I think those are $100-something.
Boxing matches are super expensive, and that goes on for what, maybe an hour?
Yeah, exactly. And you're paying all that crazy amount of money, and like the webcast, that's live. That
if you truly enjoy our sport and enjoy paintball, $20 to watch an entire event from Thursday to Sunday is an absolute steal, especially how good it is now.
Yeah, it's not choppy, it's not pixelated. It's in HD, I believe, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've gone to World Cup. I didn't go this year, but past 2 years I've been to World Cup. I go to MAO every year, and I watch it. And just like if you go to a baseball, like a Red Sox game,
yep.
You're watching it, and you look down for a minute, and you're like, what just happened? You have no idea.
Right.
There's no instant replay in real life. And it's the same thing when you actually go to the event. You're watching it, and you just say, what just happened? The point's over?
Yeah.
You watch it on webcast.
And it's
instant replays. Oh, this is what just happened, everybody.
Right.
Let me explain why they did it. If you're a paintball player who plays PSP style or any kind of tournament thing, and you want to get better.
I think even if you're a paintball player that's just plays recreationally, like a lot of the guys here at AG Paintball or anybody that's local to New Hampshire, just because they've stopped here once. If you guys play at OSG or MVP, or you play down at Boston or anything like that, any recreational paintball player, Woods tournament or otherwise, I think this is absolutely something. It's this the sport that I love is on. It's on live on TV and stuff like that, and I can watch it.
Yeah, and the stuff we learn too, when the commentators they're talking about this player who's shooting this way, and they explain, oh, he is shooting that lane because if he doesn't, then this can happen.
Right.
It kind of it makes your brain actually understand more about the sport, the way,
right.
it's a giant chess game.
It really is.
You have your different pieces on there, and
right.
everybody has a job.
It definitely just goes with, it's just a large amount of professionalism that's being introduced that just was not there prior to that. So, it's really just I think it's an amazing thing that's going on. PB Access is doing a wonderful job. I would highly encourage you to go check out pbaccess.com. The next time an event's going on, go check them out in general anyway, and you can go watch replays of any event and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and move on to the next topic, so we can go ahead here and start to wrap up soon. All right, so let's go ahead and I know this has been a really long video, and for anybody who's still listening at this point, I do really appreciate it. I hope you found a lot of what you listened to entertaining, or at least thought-provoking, whether you agree or disagree. I really hope that it got some stuff flowing in your head, stuff to think about, really almost to the bigger picture of how is paintball doing overall as a sport, where we're going, where we've been, kind of a compare contrast kind of deal, and if a lot of what we're seeing out of these companies and out of the pro leagues and out of the media is a good thing, or is it a bad thing. So, again, if you're still listening to this point, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and wrap up here with some final thoughts. Final thoughts overall, PSP World Cup as far as the product goes. Were you underwhelmed? Were you overwhelmed? Do you think it was just right as far as product goes? Did you like what you saw?
I think Empire or Key, I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, they redid two of their biggest guns, and they look good. Dye's Dye, it's kind of hard to be impressed with them because of their track record. I wasn't super surprised by them.
Yep.
But like I say, Dye's Dye. Then let's see, Planet. Yeah, nothing was officially released, kind of thing. So you can't really say that Planet did.
Yeah, the
awesome
E-Tech 5
job.
wasn't officially released basically until this week when they started doing teasers.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have. They had one or two maybe physical E-Tech 5s down there, which got photo leaked that may or may not have meant to have been released. Who knows? But realistically, they didn't really debut anything big at World Cup.
Yeah, and then let's say the GI, the new colors of the mast.
Yep.
I think they look great. Pro players are already using them. I think that's awesome. The Bunker King Pack Dash. The HK, was it 0G or something like that?
Yeah, it's 0G, I think.
Yeah, I think those are really cool. I think they're somewhat game changer as long as they just don't wear out real quick.
Yep.
I think that's awesome. Kind of hoping for a new loader. Not really that they need a new loader out there because, between the rotor and the spire, there's
right.
nothing else really needed. But paintball players love new stuff, so that's what it is. People just want new stuff. Doesn't even matter if you're gonna buy it. You having issues over there, Alex?
No, just doing a little bit of adjustment. I'm all right.
Yeah, hour and 20 minutes into it. Let me adjust your mic out.
Don't worry about it. Just carry on.
Yeah. End of the season for World Cup was awesome. I'm a Tampa Bay Damage fan.
Yeah, I'm quite aware.
I do love Archaeos. I hate the way they made my team look like children.
It's 7-0'd in the finals is hard, man.
Yeah, I'm not a giant Dynasty fan, but I'm going to say the game of the event or the
was
match.
that Dynasty Infamous finals in the Challengers division. Absolutely.
Yeah, with the overtime.
The overtime and the one-on-ones, that was a fantastic way to end that game.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, the climax of the event. And it always should be. It should be the finals. And they swapped the challengers versus. The challengers are usually their finals are done first.
Right. This year they had the Champions game, then they had the Challengers finals after that. Which the way it went down, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It just played perfectly.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it. It's almost like they knew that RKS was just going to destroy Tampa Bay, and it was going to be.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, it was going to be kind of boring to watch, and they had to have known that Dynasty Infamous was just going to be the game of the whole weekend.
It really was.
So it definitely ended on a high note.
Absolutely. That the entire match came down to a tie. They go to overtime. They go to one-on-ones because nobody scores in overtime.
Yeah.
And it comes down to if you guys don't know the way this all works, basically, when it comes down to they play their match, and if they're tied at the end, they'll go to an overtime period.
And that was questionable anyways because they had that major penalty on
right.
Dynasty.
Exactly.
And they kept that Infamous player alive.
Right, that was questionable to start. That's almost like if any of you guys were watching the Dynasty Joy Division game back in 2007 MPPL World Cup. It went down exactly the same way. Major penalty was thrown in the last second with the last couple people on the field. Nobody really knows what's going on. We got an explanation from the ref, but to a lot of people it doesn't even make sense.
No, it's almost like, it seemed kind of like favoritism to some extent.
It was almost like they went out of their way to make that game continue.
Yeah.
Which everybody in the crowd was for that. Everybody in the crowd, they were deliberating this penalty for, God, what was it? We were watching it live, like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It took them a while to pretty much figure out. I think for most of them, the refs were like, what just happened? Everybody, tell us what you saw.
Nobody really knew what happened.
Yeah, and it was crazy. It went into the overtime, and then it went into the one-on-ones. And
the one-on-ones was it was not to be missed. It was definitely not a disappointment.
And it sounds kind of boring in general. What, one person playing against one person for 1 minute? But everybody had their own style of doing it, and it was amazing. It was an awesome way to end it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to that, how it works. If they play that overtime point, it's the first person to score a point during that overtime period of time.
3 minutes.
If that time elapses, if that 3 minutes elapses without a point being scored, they go to one-on-ones where each team picks 5 people. They all go out on the field. 4 of them stay behind the start box, and one person from each team plays basically a one-on-one point.
For 1 minute.
For 1 minute, it's timed. If they're still both alive at the end of 1 minute, obviously it's a null point. Nobody gets a point. If one person shoots out the other person, obviously they get it. And the person who shot that guy out gets a point. And they do the first team to get to 2 points wins the event. So if you guys didn't see it, the way this went down was Dynasty started off with their first guy in the one-on-ones. They picked Ollie Lang, which
I think he shot probably about 6 pods.
Oh, absolutely. His whole mentality was to go out there and just keep his finger on the trigger.
And it worked.
He had his LV1. He went out there with like 10 pods. He can do that.
He's like, I got a 1 minute match, guys. Only give me 10 pods this time.
Right, yeah, the way he's been playing all year, especially over with the Polar Bears in Millennium, where that viral basically information and video that's been going on, where he went out there with a Spire 260 and 12 to 13 pods, and he shot all of it. So that was, Dynasty started off with Ollie Lang. Of course, he wins his point because he's Ollie Lang, and he's as hyped up and as overrated as people think he is. He's still an amazing paintball player. Infamous comes back 1 or 2 points later, and somebody from Infamous had won their point, so it was a one-on-one. and it gets down to the last person from each team. It gets to the 5th guy on each team.
Was it Zach Wake?
I think it might have been Zach Wake.
Yeah,
for Infamous goes out, and it was almost. I believe it was almost down to basically like 10 to 8 seconds was left.
Oh yeah, if he didn't run to hang that flag, I think he had probably 3 seconds left. He
shot out the Dynasty player with 10 seconds left. The last guy. Oh, God, it was just amazing to watch. Infamous ended up winning that. Obviously, both teams, Dynasty, San Diego Dynasty, and Los Angeles Infamous, are going back into the Champions Division for the start of the 2015 PSP season.
Where they should be.
Where they absolutely rightfully should be. But Infamous comes away with the title and the mentality that they won World Cup, and competitively going up against Dynasty in that finals match, it might as well have been Champions Division that they won.
Yeah, 'cause actually I think Dallas, the first event, wasn't it Dynasty versus Infamous?
It might have been.
I definitely know Infamous took first.
Obviously, Infamous won that event. I don't remember. It might have been Dynasty, though.
Yeah, I should do research before I talk out loud, because I'm sure that... Actually, I don't need to read your comments that you get on this. So.
Right, absolutely. We don't need to read all the comments of people correcting us every 2 minutes, which I'm sure I'll do anyway, but,
Well, this is opinions. So, in my opinion...
in my opinion, Dynasty played in the finals. Not that actually happened, but it's my opinion.
My opinion.
So there you have it, guys. Completely new. I really hope you, if you're sticking around to this point, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're skipping to the end and you're just tuning in within a couple minutes, I would highly encourage you to go back and really listen to it. I know this video was really, really long. This type of thing, I know I check out a lot of YouTubers that do stuff like this, and for this, I'll usually play this in the background if I'm doing something else or browsing on the web or something like that. But I think personally, this is a really great start to a new series that I would really like to do here on my channel with this kind of interview thing. Maybe they won't all be this long in the future. But other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed what you heard. I'd love to hear your opinions on everything we talked about. If you have any opinions, whether you agreed with us, whether you disagreed with us, whether you completely outright disagreed with us and think we're absolutely wrong and we're idiots for what we're talking about, I'd love to hear that down in the comments below.
Stuff that he wants to talk about in the future, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to continue this interview series. Anything that you want us to talk about. And, I can really get anybody in here to interview. I can get field and store owners. I can get other techs like myself and Alex here opposite of me. I can get players here. I can get professional players if you're looking for professional players. That would certainly be something I can absolutely work out because I have those connections. And, besides getting that for you guys, I'd love to go interview professional players as well. I can get local players that are maybe that you think are more in tune with the way that products are coming out, or the way that real paintball is for the the masses, how it goes, stuff like that. So again, guys, if you're sticking around this long, I really appreciate you sticking around and listening to this new interview style that I'm trying to try out. I'd love to hear your comments. Drop them down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear whether you agreed or disagreed with us. Other than that, that's really, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up and call it a night. Again, throw it over to Alex. Thanks for joining me this evening.
Oh, it was fun. It was a good time. Hopefully everybody stayed and listened to the whole thing. Listen to me rant about certain things. Usually I'm up here in the corner and no one listens to me.
Yeah, that's right.
But make sure you like his video. Get him some money.
Thanks, I appreciate that forward.
Give him that nickel or something.
give me that penny that ad earns me, so I can go ahead and turn it into paintball. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off, and definitely look forward to doing more interview stuff like that in the future. Alex, again, thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, and that's all I got for you guys. If you appreciated the video or you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you go click that like button. It really helps out the channel, and I definitely appreciate it. And that's really it, and I will see you guys next time.
Bye.